Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
That's right. Right back like I left some. This part 2. Jehovah Chronicles, number 228. Worshippers of the Great Spirit in America, aka the Indian. You dig what I'm talking about? We're gonna come back. We just gonna let the music rock for a minute, set the tone, set the mood, and we just gonna go ahead and jump right back in, right where we left off at yesterday, y'all. You dig what I'm saying? Without no further ado,
shout out to Cosmon Cal. Cosmon Cal, boy, I'm going to tell you something. He is a problem. He is a problem when it comes to these Hebrew Israelites. Y'all better stop playing. He is a problem. Cosmon Cal is a problem. Creator gang gang.
My favorite color is blue. My favorite color is blue.
The dog.
My favorite color is blue. Favorite color is blue. My favorite color is blue.
The dog.
My favorite color is blue. 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 My favorite color is
Blue shoe springs in my red truck Taylors.
Yeah, the game coming, creator king coming. Turning up the light and watch some boys start running. Let me tell you something, we ain't out here doing nothing. I can tell you scared, boy, niggas stop fronting. It was all in the plan.
what's up?
Yeah, the game coming.
Create a gang is crazy. Boy, y'all better pay attention.
We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength.
Baby, I've got to move. 'Cause I'm tired of watching you. And I can't slow down, no. Or keep my feet on shaky ground. Slow down, no. 'Cause I can't take the beat. Slow down, baby. Slow down, I can't stop for you. 'Cause I can't take the beat. Slow down. Sister, but you take my heart to wipe your feet on.
Is this the part? Oh no.
Sister, but you take my heart to wipe your feet on.
Is this the part?
Don't wipe your feet on me.
If you won't give me what I've been missing, someone else will have to do. Oh baby.
And I guess that I was gotta be you for you and me for me. I can't take the heat. Slow down.
Slow down, baby. Ooh, yeah.
I can't take the heat. Slow down.
Slow down, yeah.
I can't stop 'cause I can't wait to take the heat.
My body shaking for you. Ooh.
Slow down. I can't take the heat. Slow down.
Now tell me what you're going through.
Don't wipe your feet on me.
Slow down, yeah. Slow down.
I'm in the fast lane now.
And it's just okay, love, but you know.
Slow down now.
I can't take that beat.
slow down. Hey, yeah, hey. As always, this your host with the mostest, burning like toasties. You dig what I'm talking about? Hey, Cosmon Cal, man. We right back in it, man. Another Jehovah Chronicles, number 228. Worshipers of the Great Spirit in America. Right? Hold on, let me edit this real quick. 1 second, guys. Let me edit this. Boom, boom, boom. And good. Okay. Yes, your boy, Big Chief Cloud Kicker. Anakwakaiki, huh? In the Algonquin tongue. Anakwakaiki means cloud kicker. You know what I mean? In the Algonquin tongue. Shout out to all the Aboriginals, man. Creative gang. You dig what I'm talking about? You truly the light of this thing. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to the Essenes, the Israelites, the Nazarenes, and the Ebionite brothers out there. You dig what I'm saying? Love, life, balance out there to everybody. You dig what I'm talking about? Thank y'all for stepping through. Man, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, man. Hit the thumbs up button. They saying roughly 60% of the people who come through and watch not even subscribe. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to Russia and India. Right? Shout out to Russia and India. Biggest contributors outside of the United States. You dig what I'm talking about? So shout out to all the progressive people all around the world, man. Shout out to the Algonquins, the Siouan. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to the Iroquois. You dig what I'm talking about? Halito, Asio, Chimichukma out there, to everybody out there. You dig what I'm saying? Love, light, balance from your big brother. You dig what I'm saying? Again, we just gonna go ahead and jump back right where we left off yesterday, right into who are the worshipers of the Great Spirit in America, right? But we want to go ahead, as always, and set the mood, give a good visual presentation on where this is going to lead us today. You dig what I'm talking about? Just culmination of the stuff that we finding in OAHSPE. Now, look, we going through OAHSPE because this stuff new, right? We going through it, and look what we finding. We finding over 50, 60,000 years worth of history just in America. What about just the last 25,000 years? That would be worth it itself. What y'all don't know is that 25,000 year mark, that 24,000 year mark was when the flood happened. So OAHSPE is giving you a detailed breakdown from the flood to today and beyond today, because it tells about stuff that ain't even happened yet. Prophesy and all that stuff. Yeah. No big secret. But we don't ever know until we know. Somebody got to bring it out. Somebody got to tell it. You dig what I'm saying? So they done brought the cloud kicker, man, to kick all that pie out the sky. You dig what I'm saying? And we bringing it right back down here to earth. And what we finding is, even though we understand it is spirituality over nationality, but to break some of these religious paradigms, social constructs, ideologies and dogmas that have been put on and applied to our people that don't really got nothing to do with us, like Africa. And shout out to my African brothers. They know what it is with me. I ain't got no issues with you. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to the real ones. You dig what I'm talking about? That ain't trying to force Africa on us, because we ain't trying to force America on you. Right? We're just delineating. We're telling truth on everybody. Don't matter if you got brown skin or not. right? But that go the other way too. We can't put everything on people with pale skin when they wasn't even there to commit the crimes most times. So let's get into some of this hidden history of the quote unquote African Americans or the Negroes of America who are the true American Indians. Let's go.
History, as we are taught, is often incomplete. It is a story told by the victors, leaving out the voices of the silenced and marginalized. For the organic people of the Americas, this silencing has been particularly profound. Our true history, the story of our origins and our presence in America long before the arrival of Europeans, has been systematically obscured and replaced with a narrative that denies our rightful place as the original inhabitants of this land. This essay delves into the hidden history of the organic people of the Americas, revealing the truth that has been buried for far too long. The traditional narrative of American history often begins with the arrival of European explorers. This Eurocentric perspective ignores the rich and complex civilizations that existed in the Americas for millennia before Columbus. It fails to acknowledge the presence of black people in America before any other race isn't a secret. This narrative, perpetuated through textbooks and popular culture, has served to erase the contributions and experiences of the organic people of the Americas, relegating us to a footnote in the story of our own land. This erasure has had a profound impact on the organic people of the Americas. It has robbed us of our sense of belonging, our connection to our ancestors, and our understanding of our true place in the world. It has fueled racism and discrimination, justifying the subjugation and exploitation of an entire people. By uncovering the truth of our history, we can begin to heal from the wounds of the past and reclaim our rightful place as the true Native Americans. Our story begins in the Americas. It is the very cradle of humanity. Scientific evidence points to America as the birthplace of our species, the origin point from which all other humans migrated. And within the genetic tapestry of so-called people lies a story even more profound, a story that connects us to the cosmos itself. Recent studies in genetics have uncovered startling evidence that suggests so-called Black Americans possess unique DNA markers, distinct from other populations. These markers, some researchers believe, could be evidence of an ancient lineage, possibly even predating the emergence of Homo sapiens. While more research is needed to fully understand the implications of these findings, they open up fascinating possibilities about the true origins of Black Americans. Could it be that our ancestors were not merely the first humans, but also the inheritors of an even older cosmic legacy? This connection to the stars is not just a scientific curiosity. It is a profound testament to the antiquity and resilience of the African American people. The presence of Black Americans tribes in America long before Columbus is not a fringe theory, but a reality supported by growing archaeological and historical evidence. Throughout the Americas, from the Mississippi Valley to the Amazon rainforest, we find remnants of ancient cultures that bear striking similarities to those found in Africa. These similarities are not mere coincidence, but compelling evidence of a global people and cultural exchange that predates European arrival by centuries. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is the presence of pyramids and mounds throughout the Americas. These structures, often larger and more numerous than their counterparts in Egypt, share architectural features and astronomical alignments that suggest a common origin. The presence of Black American Indians always been in the Americas thousands of years before Christopher Columbus. Section 4. The Great Erasure. The true history of Black Americans Indians has been obscured through a deliberate and systematic campaign of erasure. This raises a question with the transatlantic slave trade, which sought to strip Black American Indians of their identity, their culture, and their history. Enslaved Africans were white people that came to America later on. This cultural genocide continued long after the abolition of slavery, with laws and social norms designed to suppress so-called African American history and culture. White people that came to America later on. and the erasure. This raises a question with the transatlantic slave trade, which sought to strip Black American Indians of their identity, their culture, and their history.
Who is the African?
Enslaved Africans were white people that came to America later on, and their history. Enslaved Africans were white people that came to America later on, and their history. Enslaved Africans were white people that came to America later on, and their history. Enslaved Africans were white people that came to America later on. This cultural genocide continued.
Not what they told you, was it? That ain't what you got in school, was it? Right? But we all advancing. None can stop the light of the Creator. Everything in the dark is coming to light. Everything that's truth gonna be made everlasting.
Question with the transatlantic slave trade, which sought to strip Black American Indians of their identity, their culture, and their
Who are
history.
the Africans?
Enslaved Africans were white people that came to America later on. This cultural genocide continued long after the abolition of slavery, with laws and social norms designed to suppress so-called African American history and culture. One of the most egregious examples of this erasure is the Dawes Rolls, a government initiative in the late 19th and early 20th centuries that sought to forcibly assimilate Native Americans. The Dawes Act resulted in the loss of millions of acres of Native American land and the dismantling of tribal governments. This erasure of Native American identity and land ownership paved the way for the expansion of the United States and the further marginalization of indigenous peoples. Section 5. Monuments of Stone and Earth. The pyramids and mounds found throughout the Americas is older than the ones in Africa. These structures, often dismissed as primitive or attributed to other cultures, are in fact testaments to the ingenuity, architectural prowess, and cosmological knowledge of our ancestors. The mounds in particular served a variety of purposes, from burial grounds and ceremonial centers to astronomical observatories and markers of territorial boundaries. The construction of these massive earthworks required a deep understanding of engineering, astronomy, and social organization. The fact that these structures are found throughout the Americas, from the Ohio River Valley to the Amazon Basin, suggests a widespread network of interconnected cultures that shared knowledge and traditions across vast distances. These pyramids and mounds are not just piles of dirt and stone, they are libraries of knowledge encoded with the stories, beliefs, and achievements of our ancestors. Section 6. Reclaiming our birthright. The journey to uncover and reclaim our hidden history is not just an academic exercise, it is an act of liberation. By unearthing the truth of our past, we break free from the chains of historical amnesia and reclaim our rightful place as the descendants of a proud and ancient people. This knowledge is empowering. It allows us to see ourselves not as victims of history, but as inheritors of a rich legacy of resilience, innovation, and cultural brilliance. It is time to rewrite the narrative of American history, to center the voices and experiences of those who have been silenced for far too long. By acknowledging the true history of Black Americans, we create a more inclusive and accurate understanding of our collective past. This is not just about righting historical wrongs, it is about building a future where all Americans can see themselves reflected in the story of our nation.
All right. Let's get back into where we were yesterday. Let me share this. Shout out to everybody coming through. What you say? Shout out to Speciality Navarre. Says he ain't telling all the truth. They were grouped and taken to that Portuguese colony in Africa where them white folks come from. Well, that's not the whole truth. Actually, the truth is Vikings had been raiding from Russia, Finland on down, and had been dealing with the Corsairs in Portugal. right? The Corsairs, who were Muslim converts, and went back and sold the people to the Ottoman Turks. The Ottoman Turks, who had been raiding the Guinea coast, which is Greece to Spain, right? All that is Guinea, right? The northern Mediterranean coast. They had been taking those people into northern and western Africa and dropping them off in the slave regions from late 1400s to the mid 1800 or 1850, or roughly 1500 to 1850, in the slave coast, in the states like or countries like Ghana, um, uh, 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 Kenya, and the West African slave states. The Ottoman Turks enslaved right there over 1.5 million pale-face Europeans, or Europeans, period. Right? Those people were then sold by the Dahomey and the different enslaver groups. You dig what I'm talking about? Being taken from the caves off the coast. So they called them Apri, or troglodyte, cave dweller, right? And hence those quote unquote African Europeans take a quote unquote term called Africa on and are shipped to the Americas, right? They're shipped to the Americas. The misnomer is they never tell you that it was brown Europeans too, coming over there enslaving people. And you did what I'm talking about. Many of the Turks and the Ottomans was niggas. And that you did what I'm talking about. Many of the Africans was pale. It was brown Africans and pale skinned Africans, white Europeans or pale Europeans and brown Europeans, everywhere. So you did what I'm talking about, just to get the whole story out there and be clear. And this is part of the Barbary trade. Remember, it was the Ottomans being overthrown in that First World War. Huh? So they was kicking ass all the way into the 1900s. The Turks, the Ottoman Turks, was a problem, right? And had been enslaving people over there for a long time, right? But let's get into some of this. Shout out Navers, especially Navers. Shout out everybody for coming through, man. You love life balance out there to everybody. Let me see if I can blow it up just a little bit. Make it look a little bit better. Okay. All right. Now, this is stuff out of OAHSPE. Right? This is stuff out of OAHSPE. This ain't from, you dig what I'm talking about, what everybody else is talking about. And they're not talking about none of the spirituality whatsoever, spiritual practices, connections with the land, nature, science, technology, engineering, and math, which is our religion in the Americas, right? That's the thing we do. You dig what I'm saying? We over here, we the great builders, right? Now, look at some of the stuff OAHSPE is letting you know. First and foremost, right? First and foremost, for the most part, they have been worshipers, talking about the American Indian, the Angui, aka the Negro in America, right? They have been worshipers of the Great Spirit for many thousands of years. Their culture, although close to the earth, is imbued and empowered by spirit and acknowledged to be that of the Great Spirit, right? Point two, their social and tribal ways value freedom. What OAHSPE kicking? OAHSPE kicking that flow, ain't it? Freedom, liberty, liberty or liberation, organization and emancipation. It's the flow. Huh? Their social and tribal ways value freedom and the individual as an integral part of family and community, which was also evident in the quality of their fathers and chiefs, among whom there were no tyrants or dictators. You've always been good. Their nurturing and raising of children with the ability to absorb orphans and lost children into their families and tribes preview the enlightened upbringing of the children of the Creator's kingdom on earth, right here in North America. We only talking about North America, y'all. But let me show y'all 6,000 years ago, the United States was created. Not in 1776, 3953 BC. The Union of Nations, what? The United Indian Nations, established by the Prophet of America, Iwata, still evident in the Iroquois Confederacy at the time of the European colonization, provided a model for the United States Constitution. Ben Franklin cited it as an example to be modeled upon, right? We could easily just go into the encyclopedia of America and go down into some of this. Let me see. Some of this Constitution, right? And hold on, let me back out of this. Let me show y'all this real quick. We ain't making this up, right? This is from the Encyclopedia of American Indian Contributions to the World, 15,000 Years of Invention. Look, right here. The U.S. Constitution took it directly from the Iroquois Constitution. But my thing is, if the U.S. got it from the Iroquois, who the Iroquois get it from? The Algonquin, right? The Algonquin. Regarding that last point, right? OAHSPE feels that the model of the Great Spirit culture, the indigenous culture of America, including the Great Confederation of Peace of the copper-colored Americans, right? We're going to go show that OAHSPE say that these people, these Ahuan-leaning Ions, or these iron-leaning Ahuans, the large copper-colored Americans, because Guataman means American. So the large copper-colored Negroes of America would come through the spirit of the Americans, proof of which is witnessed today in the international admiration and adoption of the best of the Guataman or American culture among seekers of peace, truth, harmony, and all life. We know that today as hip-hop. The most dominant culture in the world. Look, hip-hop culture originating in the Bronx in the 1970s, gang, global dominance through the dissemination of its music, dance, fashion, and art, evolving from a local movement to a worldwide phenomenon that influences various aspects of culture. I would say almost every aspect of culture worldwide. wide, irregardless of language or place. They got whole groups of people who try to act like Aboriginal Americans that they see on TV. That's all they do. Yo, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. They got a whole little Japanese people who tan their skin, take pills and stuff to get real dark and try to dress like niggas. Talking about yo, son. In China, in Japan and stuff. I ain't making this up. I'm telling you, right? Your culture has dominated the planet and always has. Soon as they come into contact with you, you can't deal. You got to deal with this. Huh? You got to deal with the seekers of peace, truth, harmony, and all life. Right? It's going to change you. Right? Now, this is from the first book of God, 27:47 through 49. Right? Check what it says. It says, the Creator saw the great works of Iwata. This is the prophet of America. Y'all talk about Moses. Y'all talk about Abraham, Jebus. Y'all talk about every other prophet in the world. John never talk about that one from America. Don't matter what you believe. You don't know this until you go into it and look into it. Right? You got to prove this to yourself, but I'm going to bring it out to you. The Creator saw the great works of Iwata, saw the people gathered together in tens of thousands of places. Then the Creator spoke to Iwata, saying, you shall find what? 40 mighty nations. We call these states today. And this also goes to show that those little imaginary state lines aren't even real. He said it's 40 mighty nations. We know we got 50 states and 2 or 3 territories now. Nonetheless, each a mighty nation unto itself. Michigan, the state, is a nation unto itself with its own constitution and charters. Who gave you the idea of unity and union? You get it from the Aboriginal Americans, the Iroquois. But who they get it from? They got it from Mr. Algonquin himself, the prophet of America. But look, this is 3953 BC. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you when it happened. What y'all gonna learn is the great prophet of Africa, the great prophet of India, the great prophet of China, and Asia, and the great prophet of America are all the same age, born at the same time. They did the same exact thing in 4 different parts of the world. Don't that sound like all one? You ain't gonna have Creator got one God, one teacher over here teaching one thing, another one teaching over here another thing, another one teaching over here another thing. That ain't how Creator works. And some of the proof of that there is a Creator or a great spirit is the harmony, is the oneness, is the union, is music. It's the mix. You dig what I'm talking about? That produces the melody. But what causes the union? Right? You got to always strike the right key, and the one key is the great spirit. You shall find 40 mighty nations, O Iwata, my son. And every nation shall be an independent nation state. But all the nations, we just talking about North America, y'all. We ain't talking about no place else right now. But all the nations shall be united into a brotherhood of nations as one mighty people. And that one shall be called Opa Egoquim. I know. We only speak English with Cosmon. Yeah, but your ancestors is Algonquin. Why do they call themselves Algonquin? Or why did the anglicized ear repeat Algonquin back to them? Because the whole United States together, the 40 mighty nations together, all the Indian tribes together, is called Ecoquim, or to the anglicized ear, Algonquin, signifying one. For, listen, this is 3953 BC he talking. That's 6,000 years ago. Listen, for when I come in Cosmon, when Cosmon starts, y'all. For y'all that don't know, Cosmon is just not my name. It's not just my name. You dig what I'm talking about? Can anybody in the chat, shout out to the chat, we're going to have you thinking, you know, Cosmon going to have you thinking, you're going to have to participate. Can anybody in the chat or everybody in the chat tell us when the Cosmon era started? What year? He says, for when I come in Cosmon, we know Cosmon is a time. When does Cosmon start, y'all? Put it in the chat. Cosmon is now. Yup. My boy Mike Ayala came through correct. 1848, sir. That is the beginning of the Cosmon era. It is the year 2025, correct? That means we are 177 years into the Cosmon era. So when he tells you, for when I come in Cosmon, he's talking about now. This is a prophecy proven to come true. It's already proved. It's done. But he's telling you in 3953 BC that when I come in 1848 AD, my people will have many states. So I just got to ask you a question. Do you, in North America, do we have many states in North America? All right. He's saying my people going to have many states just like yours in 1848. He said, and their combination shall be called union. I would ask anybody, do we live in the United States? Are combined states a union? How do you know? Is that union one nation? Well, union and ecoquim signifies one. Build a model for them, old Iwata. For although when they come, listen, I thought we was Africans. What do you mean? I thought they was bringing us here. You see, we already here. For although when they come, they will overthrow your people on the earth, set up their own system. We're not dead. But don't act like these people ain't never oppressed your people. For although when they come, they will overthrow your people on the earth, the angels of your holy ones, the aboriginal American spirits, firm in adherence and obedience to the great spirit, Yahweh, shall come and purge them. How many of y'all been talking about, and my ancestors? Yup. You wasn't talking about no ancestors 10 years ago. You wasn't talking about ancestors 20 years ago. Why not? Excuse me. Why now? Because everything has a rhyme and a reason. Everything has its own season. And remember, this wasn't supposed to be blown up till the Cosmon era. So it obviously seems to me there was a forgetting, a loss of heritage. Well, if you're being oppressed and people are rewriting history, backdating history, moving things anciently up forward, you did what I'm talking about, usurping histories, even becoming whole other peoples. Just like the Gutians did to the Sumerians, or the Arabs did to the real Commission Egyptians. Just like Europeans are doing to the Aboriginal Americans today, calling themselves American. Remember, there's only one Angui. There are indigenous people, one indigenous people to this landmass. One. And just by different admixtures is how they look. They are the Negroes. They don't come from anywhere. Build a model for them, Iwata, for when they come, when who come? So that means you here already. Because remember, we're only talking about North America. That's the dope part about OAHSPE. They give you a timeline, when, where, how, with, what. Why you even got this name? Why are you talking about this stuff? Because your ancestors, spirits, firm in adherence and obedience to the great spirit, not no God, not no Lord, not no Savior. The God maker, the thing that makes God. That's what your Aboriginal ancestors always known and praised. They've always known that man becomes God. The proof of that is they have a whole system of understanding that is called, that people who misinterpret what it actually means is really the truth of the understanding that the Aboriginal American knew man was a thing inside of a thing. It is called Manito. You ever heard of Gichi Manito? They conflate that name, Manito, for a name of the creator, but it's not. It's the understanding that man knows, I'm not the creator. I and God are the same thing, but neither one of us, God, Manito, I turn into him. I am the thing in the thing. I'm the man in the God, and the God in the man. But neither one of us are the creator. That understanding is called Manito, or the thing inside of a thing, aka Inqua. Yeah, they say you shouldn't learn this stuff, Cosmine. We don't understand what you ooga booga, Cosmine, ooga booga. How ignorant do you have to be? Huh? Why you been saying you were Indian? Why now? Because it's right on time. Perfectly on time. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will run you back. Oh, 2010, 2010. Why 2010? Anybody ever told you why? All right. Let's keep cooking. Hold on, go down. Remember, he set up the United States 3953 BC. Right? And don't get tripped out about the word native, because if you're Aboriginal, you are native. You're born in America. You ain't been from nowhere else. Now, I'm not saying you're a Native American, and neither is OAHSPE. Remember, the term Native American doesn't come out to almost 100 years after OAHSPE is written. Native American being applied to a people purportedly being biological and having basis in genes and genetics wasn't created and applied to a people to the 1960s. Let that sink in. So when OAHSPE is talking about Native Americans, they're talking about the Aboriginals, the copper colored brown people. Right? I'm gonna show y'all. All right. OAHSPE described these people, the Angwi, which is the same word as Negro, shall come in the American Aboriginal Americans. So I'm smart enough to be able to twist this because I know it has a different connotation today. But we're talking about Americans born in America, not the modern term Native American, the Asian, the Eurasian people who are confined to reservations. Not them. We're talking about the tall, copper-colored people. And it say copper-colored brown. That's only one people with long black nigger hair and copper-colored brown skin, athletic, beautiful, physically gifted, spiritually high raised, and physically dominant in the Americas. That only fit one people. Huh? Why are you talking about this Indian stuff? Because your ancestors, these Native American, Aboriginal American spirits who had for thousands of years been in obedience to the Great Spirit shall come and purge y'all niggas of y'all Jesus. Huh? Purge you of your Allah, your Christ, your Buddha, your Brahma, your Garvey. Huh? No man stands in the way of the Creator. Huh? No man. Not no Martin, not no Malcolm, not no Cosmo. Not no Jeebus. Huh? You either working with him or you against him. And if you against him, you against yourself. That's why they call Shaitan your adversary. Shaitan literally means self. Literally. It means self. It means you. So when it says Shaitan in Hebrew means adversary, well, then I would ask the simple question, who is your greatest adversary? Who can stop you from doing what you want to do? Nobody but you. This is why in Hebrew it's adversary, because it, Eastern thought is more concrete than Western philosophy. It had to be a thing, something tangible with Eastern thought. And then proving these is American Indians. Let's go see what Iwata do. Then Iwata made the nations, the states, and united them into one mighty people and called them OAHSPE, out of many one, or Algonquin. Right? This is the name of the creator. Quim. And every time you see it, you're going to see this E. Oh. Wow. Right? That's pronounced like wow. Quim is Algonquin. So all the nations together, the whole north of the United States is called what? Algonquin. It's not just a people. It's not just a language. It is the nation. And what they do? They planted the country over with cornfields. Uh-oh. We know what the Indians do. Huh? There is much more that the Great Spirit culture of the Americans contributes to the formation of the Cosmon man, or the modern man. But see, Cosmon man is a balanced man. He's physically high raised and spiritually high raised. So I can whoop your ass and then heal you up when I'm done. Don't play. It's Cosmon, nigga. Huh? Our creator told us to protect ourselves. Right? He pushed the martial rules over here. He tell us, you got to learn to overcome evil all on your own. Huh? To do that and master the things below you is to take steps towards the Godhead. He says you must be accountable for what type of God you make yourself. It's your fault if you're not the good God. I'm not saying it's easy. Life ain't easy. What you think it's going to stop? Life don't stop. Life just changed form. They think it's energy. It's not. It's the life that changes form. Huh? Energy comes and goes because it's produced. Something must produce energy. Show me what produces life. Huh? And I bet you'll get back to the end of the day. Certain people, my daddy and my mom produced life. Well, somebody produced them. Somebody produced them. I'm telling you, in the end of the day, you're going to be in a logical loop that you can't get yourself out of without a creator. You're gonna be just as monkeyed out as the evolutionists or the out of African theory guys, right? Ooga booga. There is much more that the Great Spirit culture of the Guatemalans or the Americans contributes to the formation of Cosmon man, which also can be read in OAHSPE. We shall later pick just one example, the Hopi nation, as indicative of the roots of the Guatemalans as being faithists or believers in the Great Spirit, followers of the Great Spirit, knowers of the Great Spirit. We don't believe nothing. That's the difference between being a faithist and anything else. We don't use belief. There's nothing to believe. Huh? You know it or you don't. They saying they're going to use one example. They're just going to use the Hopi nation as the indicative of the roots of the Americans as being faithists and carried forth from that time. Now, mind you, Hopi people, anciently, they got that nigger blood, that Aboriginal blood in them, but they didn't weaned out and they got that Asian stuff now. You dig what I'm talking about? But they've been here a while, and they was here. The Hopi were here before the Europeans got here, but they just wasn't here before us. I will give the Hopi tribes to about 250 AD, classic Mayan period, when they start coming over here. Right? But that's not even 2,000 years. Let that sink in. It was some of the Asian people here. Right? It was pale-skinned people already here. They didn't come from nowhere. We see that in the Maya codexes, right? Boma Park murals, big giant black niggas holding up blonde, pale-skinned people by their hair. I ain't making it up. We shall, he say, but first, our question is this. Check this out. Since the Ayans, the mound builders, right, and the Gon, right, faithists of Ham, Shem, and Japhet, Gon means modern man. But there are types of modern men, huh? Just like there types of men, period. Right? Just like today, this mean modern man, right? Modern man come in types, even though they're all men. These types are misunderstood or misnomered as races. It's only one human race. But because of admixture and epigenetic differences on the outside, mostly, right? There are some cultural differences, but, you know, America has a different culture than Europe, has a different culture than Africa, has a different culture than India. So, yeah, we're all, in a sense, different, right? Individual, right? But nonetheless, all men. Right? So when you see Gon just means modern man, but there are types of modern man. Today, the modern American Indian is called an Angui Gon, or a Negro man. But the Negro has soul. He got bounce. He got savoir-faire. This is why there's no other U's anywhere in the world. There are none in Asia. There are none in Russia and Europe or Africa. The African is not what the American Indian is. Total different people, total different cultures, total different experiences today and anciently. Huh? But since the mound builder stock and the modern stocks of faithists, believers in the Great Spirit, of Ham, Africa and the Middle East, Shem, Persia, India, and the Southeast Islands, which is Shem, and Japhet, which is Russia and China, were commanded to not kill and therefore were non-resistant and herbivorous. What then of the faithists of America? What of the Guatamians? What are these Anguis, these Aboriginal Americans? Although being worshipers of that Great Spirit, they continue to eat the flesh of animals. warriors. You had it in you. It is what it is. And we still the most dominant physical people. Look at any sport, especially the physical combat sports. Anytime an American brother get into a combat sport, it's a wrap. We all the champions. And they duck us in everything, especially when it's time to fight, because there's a reason for that. Many tribes in America, what didn't practice non-resistance? Some of them did, some of them didn't. But we know what the meat brings. The meat brings contention. Wait till they figure out it's your food that starts war. It's from your food. That feeling of angst and fear and second judgments and all that. Yeah. That comes out of your diet. Because when you slay that animal, he's full of adrenochrome. He's full of adrenaline. He's full of whatever it is that that fear is coursing through the genetic memory of the animal. If you got genetic memory, why wouldn't an animal? And you eat it. Wait till they find the connection between food and war. We a long way from that, though. We a long way from that. I ain't even gonna sit here in front. We a long way from man being able to sit down and contemplate. He truly is what he eats. We should remember that although they were worshipers of the Great Spirit, the Ahuan, the warrior faithists, there was faithists that will whoop your ass. They still here. So it's crazy. I always thought it was crazy that in this era, to bring this doctrine out to the world, Jaja brought out 4 street dudes. Daryl Cosmon, Selah Shalom, Malachi Maccabee, and yours truly, Anakaiki. Niggas who wasn't gonna go for you can't tell me nothing. Listen, if what you talking about don't make no sense, I ain't going for nothing. You could never trick me with a Jeebus story of the savior. Go ahead. Where's your breath? This is why he brought 4 stand-up street dudes. Wasn't scared of nothing. You got to be on your square. You got to have faith. Faith is not just a belief. Faith is objective. Faith is belief objectively proven. I don't got to believe 2 and 2 is 4. I know it. So when I go, I ain't got to see my cabinets, and I know that there's going to be 2 cups and 2 cups. There's going to be at least 4 cups in here. Why? Because I know there's at least 4 cups. That's the difference. And to know the creator is going to do a thing before he does it, right? Because he always does. He must. Do it happen all the time right then? No. But it happens. Right? People call it, it's resonating and you're calling it into your world and you're speaking it into existence. No, nigga, you asked for something. You didn't know you was already connected. You think that's you talking to in your head. Huh? You think your conscious is part of you. Eh. Your conscious ain't never been wrong. You have. It's not the same voice. If you really listen, it's not even the same voice. Like you can hear yourself think in your head. That voice it hit in your gut, like in the center. Like it resonates from the inside out. It's not even the same type of, like you hear it, like in your voice. It's not audible. We should remember that although the worshipers of the Great Spirit, many of them hunted and killed animals for food, clothing, and shelter. And today, many continue to eat meat as their ancestors did. Recall that the Ions were those who were capable of heeding the Creator's angels, and they were the example to the Ahoengans, which are Indians. You dig what I'm talking about? We are called Angwigan today, or the iron-leaning Gan, right? A pure Ahoen for the Negro in America. Still an Ahoen, copper color, brown, long black, coarse Negroidal hair. OAHSPE gonna show y'all what these people look like, right? Now, before we get up out of here, I want to close. Keep reading. Recall that the Ions were those who were capable of heeding the Creator's angels, and they were the example to the Ahoens right up until some 3,000 years ago. But the Ahoengan, or the Angwigan, being of lower grade than the Ions and being more distant from the Creator, were mostly flesh eaters. This is not to say that they did not have a wonderful variety of vegetable foods, which they collected and cultivated, with many tribes foregoing the hunt, relying on their vegetable, fruit, grain staples. Those Angwigans, were followed. What up, bro? Come on, bro. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Come on in, bro. 1 second. What's going on? My bad. That's my little that's my guy. Come on, fix up something for me. Where was I at? Right. These Ahoengans, right? These modern Negroids. That's a way to say this. Remember, we only talk about North America. They call this an Angwigan, or what is called an American Indian today. Not a Native American Indian, using the proper term. Those American Indians who followed the teaching and practices of the mound builders, the Ion, and who strive to maintain a vegetarian diet, like the faith this is today. Shout to the Creator gang, peace to the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddesses. Did exist and still do. Just like you a vegetarian today. Many of your ancestors were too. Many of us ate meat too. I ate meat 40 years of my life. And we know this because OAHSPE reveals it. But also, we have evidence in the variety, quality, and quantity of vegetable foods that is the heritage of the Americans, as well as some of the ceremonies of existing Americans, such as the corn ceremonies. right? We should also keep in mind that in pre-Columbian times, and therefore the influence of Luamong, the false Christ, emissary angels, whose goal was to convert or destroy the Americans, the tribal cultures of the Americans were not as narrow as many modern depictions would portray. The Guatemans, the Americans, revered their peacemaker, Iwata, and was remembered among them as the great peacemaker from thousands of years before. Remember, I told you he set up the United States in 3953 BC. And the common sign languages and great network of trade evident by far and wide dispersion of trade goods bespeaks a long history of order and peace among the many tribes and the nations. Proof of that is they got copper out of Michigan down there in the Incan and Peruvian societies. Same copper you find over there in the Minoan societies and stuff over there in the Mediterranean. Michigan copper, and how they know it's Michigan copper is because it comes with a degree of tin, so it has its own genetic fingerprint. So copper out of Michigan don't look like copper nowhere else, right? And we had a trade language here that we use commonly today. It's called English. English is a trade language. See, a lot of people don't know that a language is not only written or spoken. Language is also signed. Our signed language, our trade language in America got Latin applied to it as the script and is now modernly spoken as what we call English. It's indigenous to America. It's American Sign Language. But because flesh eaters are subject to the nature of their carnivorous beasts, they are stirred by passions that inspire a warrior perspective and culture. At this point, such mortals are easy prey to lower grade angels, such as Luamongs, or the false god Christs, troublemakers who were set loose for evil's sake among the unsuspecting Guatemians, like the Inca, like the Aztec, like the Maya. Huh? You dig what I'm talking about? Not only did the false gods Christ, malevolent angel spirits conspire to inspire discord and hatred among the worshipers of the Great Spirit, but they also carried microbial diseases to the vulnerable Guatemians to wipe them out. Readers of OAHSPE know about such strategies that warring angels use of the false gods of the old world had been carrying on with for thousands of years. Or what they say old world, they talk about the East. For instance, Baal and Ashtaroth destroyed in this way the great Median cities, including Troy, prior to the rise of the Middle Kingdom of Egypt. Like the Guatemians, the Americans, these civilizations were also worshipers of the Great Spirit, but were not scrupulous in keeping the Creator's commandments, being flesh eaters and warriors also. Right? God's priority, the need to maintain Gautama free of false gods, lords, and savior worship took precedence over other aspects of resurrection for the inhabitants of America, North America. That was priority because it was designated and ordained to be the place where the Creator's kingdom on earth would begin in the Cosmon era in 1848 after. Now, where people would be allowed to worship as their conscience dictates. Can you worship as your conscience dictates? Yes, you can. And so the freedom of religion, that is a part of the Constitution of the Republic. The freedom to follow one's conscience and belief was enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic, even though Christianity worked hard to stamp out and suppress the indigenous people's religions. Because Luamon tried to take America to himself after the time of Columbus, for example, by inspiring the Spanish conquistadors to colonize and exploit the bountiful, easily had lands. So God focused his efforts on North America. Huh? This is why they got wiped out. inspiring faithists of Europe also to that region and all its aftermath. But the false God Christ, upon learning this, also inspired mortal followers from Europe to immigrate to North America. This is why you get a primarily brown stock that come, and then you get a primarily white stock that come. Y'all let that sink in. A telling tract in OAHSPE regarding the priorities of the way Guatemala will be preserved from false gods, lords, and saviors is cited. The voice of Jehovah came to Yatante, saying, behold, my sons and daughters, this heaven and this land shall not be like any other place. For it shall rise in time afterwards those who shall begin the founding of my kingdom among mortals. Who? The created gang. For in the lands of the east and the heavens of the east, over there in Israel, over in Africa, over in Europe, I have given them lords and gods before whom they fall down and worship. But in this heaven, in America, and in this land beneath it, there shall not be given any lord or god, or any person born of woman, or their resurrection. So if you choosing your Jesus, that's just because you choosing it. You choosing your enslavement. To this end, I've created this subjective heaven and her plateaus, right? And whether the Ahuans are mortals or spirits, you shall not teach them to worship anyone but the Great Spirit. This is a nigga in America. The niggas in America are mortals or spirits. You shall not teach them to worship anyone except the Great Spirit. This is why Granny coming back. This is why your ancestors coming back. Didn't they say they was firm in adherence? For a question will rise amongst the mortals in the beginning of Cosmos as to whether mortals are ruled by angels of heaven. And I will prove it before them that in this land, all gods, lords, and saviors shall be cast out, and mortals shall become worshipers of the Great Spirit only, being ruled to that end by the inspiration that shall descend from this heaven through the spirits of the who? The Indians of America. We the only Ahuan race. Let me show you what these people look like real quick before. Remember, my dog. Thank you, brother. All right, see you later. Look, the Anguilles, right? The Negroes. She's talking about North America, came suddenly into the world by the thousands and thousands. They came in the north, south, east, and west, and they had long, black, coarse, nigger hair. Hold on. Huh? Long, black, coarse. I just tapped it in there. Long, black, coarse hair. Look who pop up. Huh? Y'all let it sink in. But their skin was brown, copper color. Huh? Hold on. But their skin was brown, copper color. Look at all the shades of copper. With long, black, coarse, nigger hair. Every one of them. Let me go back. Because it's describing them. And their arms were short because the Ahuans' arms was long. Like the Ions. Very proud was these Negroes. Look, you switch the N, take the two E's, move it behind the N, move the O to the N. Angui turns to Negroes. Remember, Spanish ain't have no woe sound in Latin. It's a ro, rolling R. So the woe becomes ro. And just so happened, Negro means black. They would not mix with the Ahuans. We wouldn't mix back with the large Negroes. And they dared not mix with the sacred people because of the commandment. So these Anguilles became a new race in the world, having all the symmetry of the Ions, all the intelligence of the mound builders, but all the savageness of the large copper-colored megalithic builders of America, like the Olmecs. And being feeders on flesh, They fell under the dominions of the lower angels, and they rejected the lords and gods. This is why you don't rock with Christianity. This is why you don't rock with the Bible. You understand Jesus and all that stuff. You get it. But you don't rock with it. Why? Because you never have. Never. Huh? Look, copper-colored brown. Huh? Long, black, coarse hair. It's only described one people in America. Hold on. Let me share this. Long, black, coarse hair. Copper-colored brown. Long, black. One is the one common denominator in here. We just talk about North America. Huh? Great shape. Beautiful on the inside and outside because of your iron ancestors. Physically dominant because of your megalithic builder, Ahuan structure and forefathers. Balance. We're gonna get up out of here real quick, right? All right, I'm gonna just drop down real quick. Look, they shall concern themselves about more in a righteous foundation of my kingdom than in the multitudes of conversations and resurrections. For the standard of their lords and gods and their successors is of more value than tens of thousands of redeemed who are of little wisdom and strength. For these latter will be raised up afterwards. Talking about you. Huh? It is clear that, like all other people of the Cosmon, the Guatamians also needed their part of the Cosmon era amalgamation of nations and races to reach their highest potential. Huh? This is why many of them people got here. Remember, it's not just pressure bust pipes, but experience creates. My bad. Experience creates knowledge. It's objective. So you had to bring these people here to learn how to deal with them. You can't turn coal into a diamond without pressure. Heat, pressure. Right? We're going to go and get up out of here. You dig what I'm talking about? As always, you know your boy Cosmon love y'all, man. If ain't nobody told y'all today, you dig what I'm talking about? Make sure you tell somebody you love that you love them. You hear me? Hug somebody, kiss somebody today. You dig what I'm saying? And we're going to take them out with this junkyard. You dig what I'm talking about? We're going to take them out of here with this junkyard today. Right? Let's rock, y'all. We out of here. You dig what I'm talking about? Hope y'all got something from it, man. Love, light, balance out there to everybody. You dig what I'm talking about? We're gonna jump on some of this junkyard. That poke and bean. Huh? Sardine. Hey. Hey. And as always, I just need you to do one thing for me. Huh? I just need you to do one thing. That's breathe in, let that light in. Because I'm Cosmon. And I'm out, y'all. Look, we're going to go on here and rock you. We're going to rock you up out of here. Give me some of this. Let's go.
salty crackers.
Every morning, about 1:45. Starting. The people started doing the do. Starting. Oh, mama, oh, what should I do? Starting. To the go-go and do your thing too. Starting. Hey, and forget me. Yeah, starting. Hey, and forget me. Ooh, starting. Hey, and forget me. Hey, starting. Hey, and forget me. Hey, you better gobble them down. Do you eat them? Do you eat them? Well, you better get it down. I funk this up. Now, I think you ain't eating enough. A heavy one.